personal grooming needs. You might want to keep a few more hairs on the old body right now. Geez, Dave, winter hit hard. Doesn't seem want to go away.
Well, when I say hit hard, it just came quick. We went from plus 10, 15 to
Yeah.
minus.
We went from shorts and sandals to jeans and sandals to not wearing sandals or shorts outside. Like it just
to toques and a scarf.
to toques and a scarf and some fucking long underwear for those early morning days and whatever. If you broke your window brush back in fucking April when you were bitching about the snow to using whatever card you don't use it out of your wallet very much. Yeah, it got shitty this week, man. Like crazy.
Shitty, and it keeps coming down. And this is the worst. This is the worst kind of snow because you drive around and then you park and then it melts and you gotta scrape your window every fucking time.
Yeah,
and that I don't mind snow and stuff, but scraping windows like. You're in some place for a half hour, you come out and you got to scrape your fucking window.
And then you get wet and stuff because you're reaching across.
And your hands are cold. Well, I'm old enough now. I have gloves. I put my driving gloves. I have like 6 pairs of driving gloves and I have them everywhere. Like you can imagine because I can't keep track of anything. I have reading glasses and driving gloves everywhere in the wintertime. Because you're like with glasses too. You're outside, you come inside, you can't see.
Fogged up. Can't see a fucking thing. Find another. I can't find those fucking things.
Winter, you can fuck right off. Fuck off.
She's going to be a long one. But the thing is that we laugh about this all the time. I don't know if we talk about it on this show, but I remember as a kid, Halloween, which is only 5 days away now. Like as a kid, I remember Halloween every year in, year out up in Southern Alberta here. There was fucking snow on the ground when you were kids.
Oh no, I remember
not every year,
snow. But yeah, it was less than I would say less than 10%.
No,
like, to have this much snow before Halloween is a rarity.
Maybe I'm just waxing poetic. I don't know. Anyways, the NFL season's into week 8. This is where the rubber hits the road once again. This is separation time throughout the NFL. Dave, what's the funeral going to be like for the Denver Broncos on Sunday afternoon when it's all said and done? When they face the we're not going to mention what's her name, but with the Kansas City Chiefs, how bad is it going to get?
I think the Broncos have a 50-50 chance of covering the spread. And I don't know what the spread is at this moment. It's a conference game.
I think, yeah.
Yeah, I think they got a 50% chance of covering the spread. But, no expectations. It's a game. Whatever. Like, I don't know if I'm going to watch. We're actually, like I mentioned, we were supposed to go down to Montana last week. We're going down to Montana tomorrow after work. So I won't be available to watch that game, and I'm just fine with it. I'll see what game the AM radio is hosting on the drive home.
Oh, you're coming home Sunday?
Yeah, coming home Sunday.
The thing about, and that's the thing about, you get to this point, and it's all sports, when you know your team's done, and you go, well, I'll watch, but I'm not going to center my day around it. Like I'm good. Like I'll watch it. Like I do the Yankees, like 162. I'll watch 140. Right. But there's I won't be there for first pitch or last pitch if things are going apart. But I'll watch bits and pieces of 140 because it's in front of me. Right. But when you're in a 17 game season or a 12 game college season, you can kind of pick and choose when you're like, I'm good. I'm a fan, but what's the point? Like what's
As I look, I pulled up the schedule as you were talking there. They're the afternoon game. So I will be home by fourth quarter. I will know what the score is when we pull back into Lethbridge, Alberta here. And then I'm probably not going to tune in. I'll just know the score, and that's all I care about. It sucks. It sucks having a team this shitty against the best team in the NFL.
There's a guy that we've avoided to talk about throughout this football season so far. I don't know how we've done it. Jim, our good friend of the Fan of the Van podcast, he doesn't shy away from the the Deshaun Watson talk. And Jim's had some pretty good guests on his show lately with Bill Belichick on there, and he's had Roger Goodell on there. I think even Taylor Swift made an appearance on Jim's show, which was quite odd. But anyways, make sure you guys check that out. But Deshaun Watson basically has. I think he's basically mailed it in for his contract. He's good. He's like $215 million guaranteed. This week he said, "Why would I hurt my team by playing?" What kind of fucking statement is that? You got 215 sheets in the bank coming your way no matter what, and you said, "I don't want to hurt my team by playing." You hurt your team by signing that contract, you piece of shit.
That blows me away. It blows me away. How, like, I guess $215 million. I don't know what I would say or do or how I would behave. I personally thought this was going to be a redemption tour, and he's going to show everybody how good he was, because he was a super stud in Houston there. I loved him as a Houston Texan. Like, he was a difference maker. Fucking cannon for an arm. He was like Lamar Jackson with a better arm, a better accurate arm. And now he just sucks ass. And that, to me, it just, I don't understand how he can't take this as an opportunity to redeem his reputation, like Michael Vick with the Eagles after the dogfighting shit, and he went to jail for fuck's sake, Mike Vick.
Yeah,
and right, and now Deshaun Watson has a sullied character, and he can at least try and get some people to like him again by being an elite quarterback, but he just sucks. He's awful.
That's a great comparison, Michael Vick and the because I'm not for 1 second saying that dogfighting's okay. I'm not, but that was a part of how
He went to fucking jail for that.
Jail, 100%, and he served his time and he realized it wrong. But that was a part of his growing up. It was a thing. Like there's no getting around that. Like, it was part of growing up, and to lose a quarter billion dollars over, and then get another $250 million paycheck after that. But to Michael Vick did it right by saying, you know what, I made a mistake. I did this, I did that, and then it turned out that he was sorry for what he did, and he realized the mistakes he made, but by Watson not basically ever saying I was guilty or that I did such and such wrong, and by taking whatever payouts he could get, and then by bailing on his teammates now, this guy might be the biggest piece of shit in sports history. And like if you go back 20 years, whatever it was, when Vic went on his little rampage there, or not I shouldn't say rampage, when Vic got convicted of dog fighting, people were like, "What the fuck?" Like, dogfighting must be lucrative to lose all that money as a football player. But he came back. Now he's on TV the whole bit, and so he's kind of redeemed himself a little bit. But how this Watson guy just basically said, "You know what? I'm getting paid. I got my house. I could care less. I don't care.
I did nothing wrong. These bozos gave me 80 million, and all right,
215, man.
I got a sore arm. Yeah, like it's and fucked up the quarterback market. Just like, fuck, there's so many different reasons he should be able to come to the field and want to prove the haters wrong, but he don't give a fuck. He don't give a fuck. Like I said it on the pod on Monday there. Like, he falls down, he gets pushed out. Oh, my arm, I can't play anymore. Grow the fuck up. Like, you are playing football. You're playing a game where men hit each other, and you didn't get hit that hard. You just basically fell down and you pulled yourself out of the game.
You know, you're more of an advocate for the players. I'm not anti-player, but I'm not a pro player as much as you are. Whereas I'm more of an advocate for the owner of the team, because I don't think that getting a guarantee, like the guaranteed contract, I don't like, but just for this situation, because like this Watson character, you can say, you know what, I'm not playing. Pay me.
See,
There's insurance and everything else, and so I'm not a big advocate of the guaranteed contract just for this reason, but I'm also not a like fuck guys over by any means, but this guy is the exact reason why there isn't guaranteed contracts, and it's too bad because his 215, or I think it is, I could have made that up. I don't know where I heard that, but his 215 is a lot different guaranteed contract than that second string lineman who makes 900 grand a year could be out of the league in 2 years.
And then when you have these things, like the guys that the linemen, and there's going to be some minimum wagers on that
Running
offensive
backs
line,
or
right? But like on the offensive line, I'm blocking for this guy. I'm going to sell out for this piece of shit.
yeah.
Who?
So now he loses his job. He's not trying hard enough because that guy's such an asshole. It's a
Yeah.
vicious cycle,
Well,
right? Like it's
yeah, and then when you say you're an owner hugger, who the fuck does this owner thinking he is, giving this piece of shit a guaranteed contract?
I'm not an owner hugger. I just take the owner's side a little bit when it comes to guys like Watson. Like they shouldn't have done.
But you're the owner that signed him to that contract. Who else would have done it for him, right? Like just the shit stains, right? And the shit stain owner is a piece of shit. He's been convicted of racketeering. I don't know how the NFL doesn't kick him out of the club for being a convicted criminal, but that's just how it works in the NFL, I guess.
Yeah, look, it's funny how like the Dan Schneider thing kind of just like he sold the team. It really just went away. Like it just like you don't hear just let's zip it. He's gone. We're not talking about it. It's just gone. Like I'm sure people in Washington still hear about it. I'm sure people in Maryland still hear about it. But like like around here, fuck, nada, fuck. And I internet a lot. I mean, you never hear a peep of what happened to Dan Schneider.
Sometime, someone's going to write a book, because I do know that they hired the independent counsel to do an intensive investigation as to the sexual improprieties that were happening in the office, and this and that, and it with the caveat that this is going to become public knowledge. Still waiting. That report's been out for 3 years, and so obviously Dan Snyder got a part of this selling thing was like, okay, so there has to be a redacted version that gets released. It's never been released, and that's what Goodell, that piece of shit, said to the press and everything. Once we do this investigation of the improprieties that have possibly been happening in the Washington Redskins organization, we will make these findings. Yep, managed to leak a little bit of information to get John Gruden fired, but you won't fucking sell out that piece of shit, Dan Snyder. Like, it's such a greasy organization. It's so greasy. It's like the mob, these men that run this organization. And I love it. And I love the product. So I'm the hypocrite.
And it's not hypocritical, David. And the thing is, the problem that you got is that you get talking heads like me and you, because we're talking heads now. I hate to break it to you, but we're almost part of the problem as well. That you get enough guys talking on clickbait and hot takes. Like we don't clickbait at all by any means. Maybe we should, but it's not hypocritical. It's just factual. Right, we just talk about it, and this is what happens, and nobody ever does it. Like it's never talked. It's so crazy how the stuff gets just pushed aside, and on it goes. Like it's and how money driven it is, and how it's just how corrupt it all actually is. It's too bad that we know the ins and outs of it to our knowledge. Right, we don't do an investigative report. We barely check facts for the 1420 podcast, but it's too bad that we're subjected to hearing about the bad side of sports, because the bad side of sports has been happening since Alan Eagleson back with the NHLPA back in the 70s, right? So it's not a new thing, but now we just know more about it, so people talk about it. Like when I was just a sports fan back in the 90s and none of this shit was talked about, I was good. Like I was good.
Yeah, well, you say because that's what we hear about is the bad side. That's not true. We still get all the good stuff.
No, the bad stuff's in front of us is what I'm getting at. Like we have access to the bad stuff. Back
now than we ever did.
Back 30 years ago, we had no access to it. Right. So it's too bad that it's out there. It's not too bad because it gets rid of the pieces of shit, obviously, because the Deshaun Watson is not the first piece of shit that ever walked the face of the planet in sports history. He's not. right?
Right, like I just think of Greg Hardy when Jerry Jones signed him at Dallas, who beat the shit out of his girlfriend and threw guns at her and threatened her life, and he got convicted for it, and they still hired him.
There was nefarious things going on in hockey and baseball and everything else throughout the years. It's too. I don't want to say it's too bad because these guys shouldn't get a free pass for being just because you're good at a sport doesn't mean you should get a free pass to do the things that some of these guys are doing. But we just hear about it more, right? And that's the biggest thing. It's not a new thing. It's just we hear about it more.
I miss the days of just a little cocaine problem. Like that's it. Have your blow, fucking play good goal, and then we're gonna call each other good in the morning, right? I don't need this. Yeah, I don't need rape and molestation and sexual concerns. Just have a little coke problem. That's all. Is that too much to ask? To ask my athletes to have a coke problem?
I think it was a little too much to ask for Dwight Gooden. He didn't have a little cocaine problem.
Not when he was in the '86 Mets. Well, maybe he did.
That's the second to '86 Mets reference of tonight. A little cocaine. Yeah, Dwight Gooden did not have a little cocaine problem. That's got to be one of those fuck me moments in life, really, for an athlete of all time when he decided to sit at his drug dealer's house instead. He was watching the Mets parade in New York
City. After being up all night, yeah.
After being up all night and wanted to sit with some derelict in a fucking crack house in New York City doing cocaine instead of going to the party. Like, that's got to be a low moment, man.
And apparently he didn't even like cocaine. He just liked the way it smelled.
Like the smell of it. Like that girl in fucking Edmonton 2 weeks ago smelled like cocaine and sperm. But
well, anyways, I don't think Dwight couldn't smell the sperm, but I don't know.
Whatever. No, it's
I
crazy.
wasn't there.
No, it's too bad that we're so like I agree with it that these guys shouldn't get a free pass, but it's too bad that it infiltrates the sports fan world because it's sports is still great to me. Like I don't let it bother me a whole bunch because really it doesn't change who I cheer for in the big picture. If there was an abuser on my team, I probably have a different look. Or if there was a situation like we'll talk about it here in a second when we get to the MLB GOAT here. But like even when guys were cheating, I cared a little bit during the steroid era, but it didn't because everyone was doing it.
Right, and they weren't hurting anybody
else
except for the integrity of the game. They were hurting the game.
Yeah,
they weren't hurting anybody else, and I do get that. But with this kind of shenanigans that goes on, there's just too much money, and I understand that it's fair that like 50% of profits go to revenue, go to owners, and 50% go to the players. Maybe there should be a way that let's put 10%, 5% on each side towards other shit to developing the game. And when I say developing the game, I also mean like just general education of how to conduct yourself accordingly in a society. When you do make $5 million a year, when you make $1 million a year, when you make $20 million, like this is how shit is going to happen. Well, and how to treat women, how to stay away from guns, gambling. How to stay away from drugs, how to stay away from gambling. Like I don't have answers, but
I'm glad you actually brought that up. I don't know if you wanted to go into this, but there was a kid for the Ottawa Senators. I call him a kid. He's 23, I think. Nick Pinto.
Hero, yeah.
Pinto.
41 games.
He got suspended today for half the season. It was kind of something. I kind of felt that something was going on because he's a good player, and he didn't accept his qualifying offer, and on it went. And there's money in the the Senators kind of lowballed him because he scored 20 goals, I think, last year, or 15 goals. Yeah, who gives a fuck, whatever. But and then it came.
He's a restricted free agent, right?
Yeah. So there was like 800 grams, a little low for the kind of for that. But it turns out today there was some stuff going on behind the scenes where he got busted for gambling. They haven't said exactly what happened and how much gambling he was doing on his own, or was with somebody else. Nobody knows. It hasn't come out yet. And that's something that and I was watching Overdrive today, and Jeff O'Neill was saying that back when he was in NHL, that there was guys coming in with suits on a weekly basis. Don't do this. Don't do that. Don't do this. Don't. Don't, because you're going to get caught. And this was 25 years ago. And now with gambling the way it is, you would think that somebody would talk to these, like, and this is not a one-off, but it happens pretty regularly now that guys are getting fined and suspended for gambling. That, geez, this kid could have probably, if he had a good season and qualifying offer and everything else, he probably could have put, by the time his career was over, $40 million in his jeans. And now he's not playing. Because who knows? Like, who knows what happened? Why it happened? Like, we don't know. It's all speculation. That's what podcasts are. But let's just say that he was deciding not to score an empty net, or if he was not back checking on something, or he was doing something. Yes, people talk about the NHL and NFL and MLB and NBA being hand in hand with gambling, which they are. But it's very clear in the rules. If you play, you can't bet. So this guy's basically saying, for instead of the $40 million he could have put in his jeans, I'm going to on a fucking 3-game parlay. I don't know what it was, but you know what I'm saying.
We're going to hear more about this sooner or later because I also saw that obviously on the Twitter machine today, and there's sources I trust, and one of the sources I read said if this was betting on hockey, it would have been a year minimum. So it has to mean he was betting on something else. But then why the fuck would a league who has embraced gambling on every single rights holder, they have FanDuel, I think it is, on Sportsnet. They have fucking
everything,
gambling ads all the time.
All the time. It's all over.
And so, like, I just need more information to talk about this to understand why he got suspended for a half a season. Because I don't it just really makes me scratch my head why someone would get suspended for gambling when the league has embraced this. Every sport, like, and the rights carriers
everything
talk about it. They talk about it on their panel shows. They do everything, but a player isn't allowed to gamble on the product that they're endorsed. Like, what would happen if it was Gatorade that was sponsoring all this shit and a kid was drinking Powerade? He would get in shit for that.
Well,
right?
You can't throw a game because of Powerade.
Right. But, you know, you might not play as well. Like, I don't know the fucking rules on energy drinks. But you understand what I'm saying? Like, you know,
I know,
gambling,
but
if they've decided it's legal and you're not bidding on the game you're playing, there should be fucking just let it.
Well, that's why, like, until we get the full facts of it. But I think it's pretty simple, Dave. Like, and I agree with you 100% that the all these sports leagues have gone hand in hand with betting, and it's a bit odd to me that they don't let the guys bet on a football game when they're playing hockey, or if you're a football player, you can't bet on a basketball game or whatever it might be. I totally agree with you there, but when I have a 5 to 10 year maybe opportunity to make a lot of money doing something I love, if somebody said don't bet, I'm like, okay, pretty simple. I'm not doing it. I'm not. Like, it's actually that simple. Here's the rules for your employment. Like, this is what you have to do to be employed here. I think it's pretty simple. And for that guy to fuck that up, I think it's stupid. Like, you're a fucking idiot. Because you could have put $40 million in your jeans for a fucking 3-game parlay or whatever it might have been. Like, you're a fucking idiot. That's my opinion.
And you're right, but you know, we're not talking about gambling, we're talking about addiction, right? The same thing, like we were just talking about it. You think Dwight Gooden wanted to keep doing cocaine, right? How many millions of dollars did that cost him? Right? He never tested positive for cocaine. As far as I know, I don't think he ever got suspended from Major League Baseball.
No, he did for a little bit there. Yeah, there was some situations, but yeah, that doesn't matter.
Okay, but nonetheless, like he was only hurting himself by doing cocaine. Like someone, like the gambling's a different thing because of the potential trouble someone can get in by throwing a game, right? And that's what that Tim Donaghy, that referee, like, and you can find a couple documentaries on Netflix with like that Boston College group that was implicated. Yeah, it's harder to influence the game as a hockey player, which doesn't make it right. It doesn't make it right. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
And you know, if the leagues are gonna embrace
But the thing
gambling as
is,
a revenue generator, they can't be fucking surprised when players want to place a bet here and there.
well, because it's so relevant. Like guys, they sit around their hotel rooms all day long, whatever, and it's bet US, bet this, bet that,
You
whatever,
play cards in the back of the bus as a
right?
kid.
So
You play cards in the back
no,
of the plane when you're in the bigs.
I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you. But if somebody says this is the rules, like when you go to work at fucking Home Depot, you have to wear khakis every day, and someone says no, then you don't work there anymore. Pretty simple.
When you were in,
I know you say
when
it's
you
an
were
addiction and everything else and whatever, but it's like fuck, man. These are the rules. These are the rules. And
when you were in
and
Bonneville on
because
the bus, and they said you can't play dice in the back of the bus anymore for money. And then also then like, well, like fuck, we're just playing for loonies, we're just playing for dollars. I told you guys you can't play dice. Someone's gonna be playing dice and someone's gonna get caught playing dice or cards.
yeah. No, I no, I totally understand that. I totally understand because when you tell someone to do something, they're more likely to do it, right?
Right.
When you tell Jasper not to do something, that it's more ammo for him to do it, right?
Yeah, like
Well,
why?
it's one
Well,
of those things. Just don't.
just
Why?
cause, okay, please.
So I'll do it because I have $1 million in the bank anyway. So fuck off. Not that Jasper would say that, but, or he has $1
And
million
not
in the
that
bank,
I have $1 million
unless he
in
does.
the
But
bank,
whatever.
right? Yeah.
It's one of those things. But you just, I get it, but. And this is like hockey. Like there's probably a lot more, but this guy stepped over the line. Whatever happened, the details will come out in the coming days and weeks ahead. There's no getting around that. But it was something like there was something weird going on because the guy should have got a contract and he didn't, and both sides kind of held off a little bit, and it didn't happen, right?
Yeah.
And then it turned out today. Well, here's what happened. You got 41 games, and see you later. And he'll never get, like, I should say never. He won't get another big contract because whatever happened was kind of major, and these guys are disposable. Somebody
He's
else,
gonna get one. Well, I
somebody
don't
else will
know
come in and
because
score fucking 25 goals next year for the Ottawa Senators. Who cares?
you know I'd rather find sign a free agent that had a gambling suspension than a domestic dispute or a cocaine. Right.
Oh yeah, like yeah.
Or even a DUI or an assault, something like that. Like, and maybe that's us and our like, wow, it's just a bet. It's just a bet, right? And like,
But then it just carries on, right? Like
yeah,
one bet
it's
turned
just,
into 5, and all of a sudden you're
it's
shaving
just a bet.
points,
Yeah,
right?
he only blew .09, right? Like he was barely drunk when he was driving.
Yeah. Well, that's
Right.
a whole other story.
It was just a fender bender. It's not like he killed anybody, right? Like, so like it's easy to make excuses for our heroes. Like, not that this Pinto kid's a hero, but
These are the rules.
These are the rules. And
Follow them.
yeah.
But and that's why I'm a bit like these are the rules and this is what it is. So he fucked around and found out.
Yeah.
He fucked around and found out.
At the contract, like he's at that point where this is
he don't have a contract.
Right. It's a jump from $800,000 a year to like $5 million a year.
Zero. He's making $0.
$0 a year right now.
With no contract when he gets out of suspension. Zero.
Yeah. And a tattoo on his ass saying I got a suspension.
Yeah, maybe we should get a hold of him. Use promo code 1420 BetUS at betus.com. You can get a 125% bonus, sign up bonus.
Yeah, Pinto just DM me 1420 Dave on the Twitter machine.
Yeah, we'll figure it all out.
I'll set you up, brother.
No, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's too bad. It's too bad because they're hand in hand, but right.
But we don't know. Too. All we know is
sports like the leagues are hand in hand, but the players can't participate. And if that's a rule, it's a rule.
But if you play football, you should be able to get down on every NBA game you want.
It's a slippery slope, man. Because you
get
buddies and everything else. It's a slippery slope.
No, but that's absolutely fucking bullshit. So you're a waitress at one place and you're not allowed to drink at another? Fuck off. You're making so much money on it, and I can't fucking get down. How am I supposed to get down?
I don't know. Do you still get down?
Not on gambling, but yeah, nah. It's been a while. I don't get down like I used to. Like it's
no, me neither. No.
Jesus. 2-3 times a year. Like so, maybe the odd Sunday afternoon, I'll get down for like 20 minutes. Not get down.
I don't know what you're talking about anymore. It's a 1420 Sports Bar podcast. I have no idea what you're talking about there. The first time in the 3.5 years to this show, I'm actually at a loss for fucking words. 1420 Sports Bar podcast. For Beer Sports Talking a whole lot more. This segment is brought to you by manscaped.com. Use promo code 1420SCAPED at manscaped.com today and save yourself 20% and get yourself free shipping at Manscaped before you go and get down. I'm a loss.
There ain't no crime in getting down, man.
There ain't no crime in getting down. Depends how you get down, though.
Yeah, getting down is that's every person's getting down is their own.
If you're gonna get down,
interpretation.
Get down responsibly.
Get down responsibly, and don't hurt anybody, and don't fuck yourself out of $5 million a year, Pinto.
Jesus fuck.
If you want to get down, just
how pissed would could you just let's for how pissed, like, let's say if you had to go into your parents' house on the north side of Lethbridge in 1980, whatever the fuck, or 1990, and you had a contract and before the internet, and you had to walk into your parents' house and say, Mom, Dad, I gotta tell you something.
Did you sign your contract? Did you sign your contract?
I didn't sign yet, and turns out there's a problem, and like I got suspended, and I'm probably out the better part of, it would have been $5 million back then. I'm probably out the better part of, I don't know, fucking 1.6, 1.7 million bucks. What would your parents said?
Go to your room. What do you do? Like,
go to your room.
Go to your room. Your mom and I are gonna talk.
Steve and Mark would have had me in the fucking garage on 22nd Street.
You go to your room. Your mom and I are gonna talk, and we'll call you when we're ready to talk to you.
Oh,
what'd you do? What'd you do? I got.
Well, down. I can't really talk about it.
I got down. I can't talk about it.
Think about that. I can't actually talk about it. Like, it's under investigation. I can't really talk about it. I'm sorry, but can I still stay here tonight?
How pissed is his agent?
Oh, all of it. All of it.
Who's not pissed at him?
Oh.
The game, like he just like, imagine he has some bookies DMing me and like, hey, like, this is how you do it on the sly if you want to get down.
His bookie saying, are you going to pay us still? You lost. Your credit's up, man.
Yeah, like
now if you don't have a contract, your credit's really up.
Yeah, like, so once you sign, like, we want X number on this day. Like, it's fucking the interest is accruing.
Yeah, there we go. 1420 Sports Bar podcast, 4 Beer Sports Talking a whole lot more.